what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Lineage Break, a Grand Archive TCG podcast. I am Cam. I run show. With me running show is Steven. Hello, Trusty Steve.
Hi, I Trusty Steve. I also run show sometime.
Hello, show run. We do. Welcome, show. It's good to be here.
Happy Friday.
We have a show for you today. We're going to talk about some stuff. Not a tremendous amount of news, but a couple of things to go over. We have some Southeast Asian nationals that have concluded, so we want to talk a little bit about the top 8 and how that shook out. We have Revelfest promos have been sent out to humans in the world.
Yeah.
Akihabara tickets have been sent out to some amount of humans in the world. Yeah,
there's a lot of cool stuff.
We got a show to talk about. But first, I want to, maybe a random person on the internet that probably doesn't watch our show, but I've been selling some cards this week, right? And if nothing else, I have to use my life for content. So I'm selling some cards, made a very bad decision at Massachusetts Regionals, which was also last week. Congratulations to all of our top 8 players, 2 of which under the Lineage Break crew, Richie and Matt. Congratulations. Yeah. But at Regionals, our dear friend Abraham just happened to have a playset of Zhangjiao CSRs, which anybody that follows my posts on the internet, which you shouldn't, but if you did, I was looking for those and ended up not buying them. And so this man walked into my life with a playset of CSR Zhangjiaos, and I made some unfortunate decisions, not with my own money, but with the money of our sugar daddy, Sean. And so Sean spent very many dollars on these CSRs for me, which means I have to do some work to come up with that money. So I'm selling some cards. That's the short story, right? Mm. So anyways, I'm selling some cards. And it's been a whirlwind this weekend. First of all, I was selling some dungeon guides, and somebody asked me if the dungeon guides were available. But since I was selling both A and B dungeon guides and DOA dungeon guides, they sent me a message looking for dungeon guide (girl), which I really was not a big fan of, because the A and B dungeon guide is a girl. So I didn't know exactly which ones he was talking about. And then this morning, somebody asked for my Vermilion Decrees, which is awesome because those cards are $1 billion. And when I checked to see who the message request was from, it was from username Suck My Ass. So shout out to you, username Suck My Ass is looking to pick up some cards from me. So that's sort of what my sort of what my week has been looking like. Shout out to you if you end up watching the show.
The Only Cam is coming soon.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, that's
the content is, it's kind of weird to do, but
yeah,
we're working on it.
So anyways, that's how my life's been going outside of the game itself. But inside of the game itself, we had Massachusetts Regionals last week, as we mentioned. We have New Jersey Regionals this week at Final Turn Gaming in Clifton, New Jersey.
Clifton, New Jersey.
So if you will be there, we will be there. We'll see you there. Make sure to save all of your $5 Dowchan Sapphire foils for me, because God knows I want them and no one else does.
All you have to do is what I've been doing. So you give Cam foils. In return, you get the IOU for foils for a later set.
It's a little bit harder for people that don't see me every day, but you could. I'll take things for free. That's fine with me. It's sort of nice, It's very similar to ALC, where all of those RE foils were literally worthless, and so people were giving them to me for, criminally low prices. I don't know that there's hope for a Dowchan, but I'm happy to buy my $5 foils. Got to pick up some Blossoming Denials. That's the one that's on the top of my list. Speaking of foil cards, the Revelfest promos have finally been sent out. Congratulations to everyone that got a Revelfest promo. I want it to be very clear. I did not get a Revelfest promo. I'm not being shipped one. And I want that to be very clear. Thank you. However, if you have one, you're looking to get rid of it for cheap, let me know. But that card sucks. It's kind of a strange choice, you know. I was on the like Copium when they announced it. I was like, well, surely this will be good. New clerics coming out. There's some Empower synergies.
It's not good.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
It's a strange choice. I was talking about this. I think it was with producer Son Trevor yesterday, where like they've chosen a very like eclectic collection of prize cards. Where I thought we were in the we figured it out. We're only printing very playable cards as promo cards when we got like Light Weavers and Academy Guide and Backup Charger, and then like this season it's Mandate of Honor, which like sucks. Enrage is at least like a playable card in an archetype, so that's cool. And yeah, we're getting Shard of Empowerment. It's very odd. I do want one, but I'm probably never gonna play it. Like if I'm not gonna play it, there's something
right.
Something's gone wrong. I guess it pairs quite well with my Blossoming Denials to get that level 5. So yeah, congratulations to everybody that got a Revelfest promo. Steve, you haven't gotten your like shipping yet, right? I don't think anybody's got shipping information.
No. I can also confirm that I didn't get an email either.
True. I actually don't think anybody that we know in our like local area got one. Just reasonable. It's gonna get harder and harder, right? It's 300 out of what, like 12,000 players or something.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
You know, it's gonna get harder, but you know, maybe next time. They keep putting cuties on them, so I want all those Revelfest promos. Maybe the next one will have
don't
CL on it.
Don't please.
Listen, man, you gotta.
I'm already like trying to find stuff in my life where I can sell so I can afford to buy the Lineage.
I get you.
I can't buy Revelfest promo with my boy on it.
Take that card. Take that car, sell it. There you go. Easy peasy.
Revelfest and Judge is separate this time.
Ranked rewards starting going out. Revelfest and Judge is separate. For the news, head of organized play, Chica Blue in chat says that allegedly rank rewards are going out and Revelfest and Judge ones are separate. Does that mean that Revelfest and Judge ones will be later? Is that the inclination that I have from that? Which is fine. But
when do you get a whole playset of the Judge promos?
It depends.
On what level you are?
It scales with level, yeah. I believe it's I think it's like 6, 9, 12, 15 or something.
Oh, so you're
I get a playset, but not everybody does. So no rigs. See, so this is what I had to express is that at least the people that know me are very convinced that that Terrafring was rigged for me to win it, and so regardless of if that was true, they tell me it's not true. I don't know if I can trust Theo as far as I can throw him, but
I don't know.
This one was not rigged. I did not get a promo. Okay, I just want that to be clear. I did not get a promo. So, in other news, before we get to the big Southeast Asian Nationals, Pinax won a Shard promo. That's so good. That is actually so great. All right, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Ascent Akihabara. Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
First Ascent in Japan.
Yeah.
Has its own exclusive promo in the Retold Fortune Top 100 promo and entry promo.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
It's great. And I had talked about Ascent Akihabara with some people. And nobody except for me, I guess, was convinced that it was going to be like a really big deal. It's like, it'll probably be populated, but it's really hard for the U.S. to travel to, right? It's expensive for sure. And it's like easier for SEA, but that doesn't, like Singapore wasn't huge last time, right?
Right.
So Ascent Akihabara tickets went on sale. And for the first time, I think literally ever, in the first 5 minutes. Not only did VIP sold out in 0.3 seconds or whatever, always happens. Champion sold out in the first 5 minutes, crazy. Regular tickets sold out. You literally cannot buy an Akihabara ticket. They are sold out
to the point where
it's fucking crazy.
Where Silidar had to put a tweet out saying that they were trying to buy or expand to another floor so they could sell more tickets.
Yeah, it's crazy. I assumed, my assumption when the tickets went on sale and sold out, I was like, oh, they must have, it's in Japan. Akihabara specifically is a really busy place, very crowded, right? So I'm like, oh, they probably booked a smaller venue, right? And it's probably 200 people or
400.
It's a 400 person event. So 400 tickets are sold out, which would dwarf any Ascent thus far. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we assume that 400 people bought tickets. Definitely not all 400 of those people are going to be able to make it. That's just the way the ticket sales go. But the fact that currently we are, by 20-30% outpacing our biggest event thus far, which was Santa Clara at 313.
Yeah.
As you said, Silidar and the Weebs team is looking to hopefully get a second floor of that venue, which would add another 300 odd tickets or whatever. It's crazy. It's going to be the biggest event of all time.
Right.
So congrats to anybody that got tickets. It's insane how fast it went. I didn't even think it would be an issue to pick up a regular ticket because it usually isn't.
Right.
But
usually you have time, right? Because the champion usually sells out within a day or two.
Right. But regular tickets are usually always on sale.
Right.
Yeah.
But no,
it's crazy.
It was 10 minutes, no tickets available. Mm-hmm. That's insane.
Yeah. So congrats to anybody who got in there, who got a champion ticket, or God forbid a VIP ticket for Akihabara. It's going to be super cool. Unclear how many of the Lineage Break crew are making it out thus far. It's pretty far from now. I've worlds in sight and stuff like that. But
yeah.
I know that some of our gentlemen in the chat have picked up their tickets, which is awesome. So hopefully you'll maybe not see Steve and I there, but see some of the LB boys, if not us.
Fingers crossed that CL is on the deck box.
True.
Because I have a horse in that race.
Yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable. We got a gin box, right? When's Akihabara is in November, and set 8
July.
Is in December, so it'll still be DTR season for Akihabara. So very possible. We'll probably see that pretty soon. So yeah, those tickets went on sale. That's very exciting. Speaking of DTR, Steven, it's coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
But before DTR, we have Mercurial Heart Altar.
Oh, I haven't heard any news on that.
That's crazy, huh?
That's weird.
They I think we talked about it on the show, but they snuck out the product sheet. Yeah. They didn't even make an announcement about it. It's just on the website. If you go to products, you go to MRC, you scroll all the way to the bottom, you find the Altar product sheet.
Yeah.
They snuck it in there.
Yeah. So we know how many cards are in it,
which is
are
some
new cards.
Yeah, it's 3 new SRs, and then I think a dozen rares, a dozen uncommons, somewhere in that range. Right. About the same as ALC. It's 20, 25 new cards or something.
Right.
And we should also, assumingly, be getting alternate arts for all of the new URs.
Correct.
Or all of the old URs.
Correct.
With new alternate art.
Right.
And according to our glorious leader,
he forgot.
forgot to preview them at SCA Nats.
And then just went radio silent after that.
Yeah, it's saving them for Kuala Lumpur, I guess.
Posted on Twitter, said, "Oops, I forgot," and then didn't even tweet one out. Could have just given us one.
Well, I've said a couple of times that it's unclear when we have an Ascent how populated the closing ceremony announcements are going to be.
Right.
Because it is tough. I do love that they do a closing ceremony for every Ascent, but it gets a little bit difficult. They're a small game, and if you're doing an Ascent basically every month, how much news really is there to talk about, right? It's been 30 days. What do we talk about now? Especially when we're in between set releases like this.
Right.
And so I was like, I don't know what they're going to talk about at KL because, DTR is so far out. But I guess they can talk about MRC spoilers, and I guess now they will.
I mean, yeah. At that point, we should just see all of them. Right?
Maybe, I don't know. We saw it was what, there was an Ascent before ALC Alter, right?
Yeah,
like shortly before it.
Toronto, right?
No, Toronto was when we saw HVN
stuff,
product sheet, yeah. So, anyways, I forget which one it was. But assumingly, we will probably see some spoilers, and at least these art spoilers for MRC Alter at Ascent Kuala Lumpur, which is it's in like 2 weeks, right? I think. Anybody going to KL? I think it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
And at the very latest, U.S. Nationals is factually 1 week before the set comes out, and so probably that following Monday after Nationals is when we'll get like the index update. So if we haven't seen by then, I assume we'll see some stuff at Nationals. But very, very excited to see what's going on in MRC Alter. It's a bit of an odd duck. I think that in ALC it was very clear, right? Like we point to ALC and we're like, oh, there's 4 new CSRs, and at that time they'd shown us the new Vanitas art because he's like on the box art, right? So like, oh, we're getting 4 champions. It's Nico level 1, Polcock level 1, Vanitas, which was like made perfect sense. Right. Or I guess it was 7, but you get what I'm saying. I don't know what about MRC. It's a weird one. We have this new like Diana art, which is super strange. That like set up champion. Why are we getting a new Diana champion 6 weeks before 3 new Diana champions? Like, who paid them? How much did Shinja pay the developers to only support Diana for the next?
I'm hoping
4 months.
I'm hoping for a Shadow Reaver style Diana for Cursebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
So Cursebreaker's playable.
Yeah, I mean it
form
certainly has to be, right? Cursebreaker support in some way or another, or at least like maybe an alternative Cursebreaker that is also curse themed, but maybe not terrible. Yeah. But if I think there's 4 new CSRs in MRC Alter, and if we assume that Diana is one of them, what
are the other?
What are the other 3?
The other 3 SRs. Maybe Diana's not an SR.
Oh, she has to be, right?
Does she?
I mean, the last ones weren't they? Like Vanitas and or I guess
the level 1s are rares.
Yeah, just the Vanitas level 3 was an SR.
Yeah.
I assume she's an SR though. How about this? You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The most copium of all time. You ready?
I'm here.
Now listen.
Do you want me to turn up the cope?
Now listen.
Oh my God! This is going to be an Arsana thing.
Of course. This is the last one that I get. All right, this is the last one that I get. Because once MRC's over, Arsana block is gone forever. All right, it's all over until they print her again.
Is it? Arsana block is not over
until they print her again.
Yeah,
they're besties out here. Diana's getting a new champion.
Yeah,
and listen, let's be fucking clear. That yes, of course, it's about Ari, but it's not really. If you're going to rank champions, full mainline champions from ALC that deserve a second level 3 or a new level 3 or a new champion, whatever.
It's not fucking Ari.
It's not Ari and it's not Diana.
It's Tony.
It's fucking Tony. Like, that dude needs help, man. That dude is so down bad.
I don't even think he needs I think he
needs something, man.
He just needs a new level 2.
Well, right. He needs a new champion.
He needs a deft executor.
And so bear with me.
Executor.
What if they all get one?
Okay.
And they just put Diana on the box. Okay. What if the 3 new SRs are 3 new champions for our humble ALC champs?
What would be the 4th?
CSR? I don't know. That one's tough.
But that makes sense. If
the
3 SRs are all new champions.
Could be cool. And I'd be excited because I get a new Ari. But not that she needs it. But to be fair, just a little bit more, copium.
Yeah.
Arisan is unplayable without the Proxy's Vault card. So, like, if we're talking about support, she would need it if Polaris didn't exist.
Maybe she gets a new level 3 that does what Polaris does.
Yeah, maybe they ban Polaris. Like they no meme. I mean, they said it was like 2 ban lists ago or whatever. Because like Polaris, I think is Cat 1 now.
Yeah.
That they were like Polaris is on our radar for a stone scale level update because it's too powerful. I understand Polaris is too powerful, and that would be the perfect thing. Every time I play Polaris, I bemoan that I can't have it foil. And so if you can give me the the text, or at least some of the relevant text from Polaris to make Ari playable on a new champion, that'd be great. So. Could be cool, but that's the copium. But like Tony does need the help. Like that's the real bit for sure.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's ALC, and it's like not much. It's like mostly Guardian, right? Or not. It was like a lot of Assassin, right?
In MRC. Yeah, I'm just saying that like a single card goes so far.
Right. Like, and the single card, the 2 single cards they've given Tony in the last 5 months didn't help.
But let's think about it, right? Think about it design wise. You make Polaris, right?
Right.
It's a mistake. Well, not a mistake, but it's obviously much too powerful, and probably should have been more tilted towards RE level 3, and less so what we see it now is just I'm playing a cleric deck that gets to play a free board wipe. But then they print Reciprocity, which I think comparatively way less powerful, and I think probably closer in line to what they want that card to look like. I would assume that if Polaris were to get updated, it would be a Reciprocity level card, right? Maybe it costs 1. It's a little bit worse, right? But Reciprocity is not a bad card.
It's fine.
It's good. And you will play it in every Tony deck, right? Like, that's the bar. You're playing Tenoris, you will play Reciprocity probably 90% of the time, unless you're playing, like, an aggro deck or whatever.
Yeah, I guess if you're... But it's, like, very coded to playing domain, so you have to be playing the domains.
I agree, but I think that's the Tony identity, He's supposed to be a domain deck. Smash with Obelisk, right? Like, he's, even at Neos, he's supposed to be a domain-based deck, right? So maybe they printed Reciprocity at a lower power level on purpose because Tony is getting some meaningful support in MRC Alter. It's like, who else needs it? Yeah,
Tristan surely doesn't.
Like ALC Alter, we got support for all of the Lineage breaks, which did need it, aside from Nico. But again, an argument that fair is fair, right? Like Nico didn't need a new champion. She was very powerful at the time.
But you had to be
But she got one just the same, right? Because everybody else got one. And so, so maybe we're getting some meaningful Tony support in MRC, and I think he deserves it. And maybe some Ari support too. Thanks.
You'll get some Ari support. You're getting...
Oh, I'm sure I'll get a card in
You're
MRC.
getting Prima Materia, but with...
Dude, it's gonna have cute art on it, but it just doesn't matter.
It's going to have Ari on it.
I know it's gonna have cute art on it. I mean, it already has Ari on it, but...
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But right, from CSR, so...
Unless
but it will get new art,
Unless
right?
the new art is getting a CSR.
That would be so cursed. That'd be such a slap in the face.
You said there's 4, right?
There's 4, yeah.
Tony, Ari, Diana.
But like, dude, I look...
Do any of the other URs have CSRs? Oh, yeah.
Like Atmos Ares does.
Yeah, Ares, yeah.
They could give it to like Shadow's Claw. That would be pretty cool.
CSR Shadow's Claw?
Yeah, that'd be
that'd
sweet.
Be hot. Surely you put a really... Surely Tristan's on that.
Traditionally, they haven't done that, though, right? Made CSR Regalia in regular sets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was looking at the MRC like index the other day because I was like, well, surely it's like uniques or something, right?
I think they all have one.
There's like one. I think it's like Bertha is the only
that doesn't have one.
Yeah, I think it's the only unique that doesn't have a CSR, unless I'm like crazy. Unless we count like the tiny little robot that happens to be unique, but it's a rare, and like surely nobody cares about that.
Which one?
The Harvester MK2
or
something.
Yeah.
Is it unique, but it's a rare. They're not getting a fucking CSR.
Yeah.
I think it's just Bertha. So maybe it's a Bertha CSR and then 3 that matter. I don't know. Bertha, not great. No, that's not the one that we need.
No, but a Scepter of Awakening for domains. Now that's hot.
Cool. Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah. I think Tony needs some support, and hopefully Tony getting support means that Ari gets support. Anyways, it sure would be cool if we could talk about all those art spoilers, and we'll pretend that there's a world where this exists, and we are talking about those art spoilers that we totally saw at SEA Nationals. But we can also talk about SEA Nationals that have now concluded. Congratulations to our top 8 players. Congratulations to the... Chad, help me out. Steve, help me out. Top 4 players that got invited to Worlds, which is Bob, legend. If you don't know Bob, you should know Bob. TTA, Fugitive, and Ollie, looks like. A bit of a strange top 8. So let's give it a read. I'm gonna start from the bottom. I'm just gonna read out some decks, and then we can talk about how weird and cursed it is. In 8th place is Wind, Aster, Arisana. Best deck in the format. In 7th place is Water, Luxem, Goja. This is like a Genbu deck. You know, not exactly a Luxem deck. I don't think he's playing any Luxem cards. It's just playing level 3 Goja. In 6th place is Water, Crux, Lorraine. Did I not look at this fucking
This deck is actually super
Water,
sick.
Crux, Lorraine. This is not exactly the chess club list, but a little bit similar. It's got some weird stuff in it.
It's playing Erendite. It's so sick.
61 card main deck. We'll come back to that one. That's a deck of all time. In 5th place is EMP, playing Wind, Luxem, Xander. In 4th place is Ollie playing Wind, Luxem, Xander. In 3rd place is Fugitive playing Fire, Luxem, Xander. In 2nd place is TTA playing Water, Dao Chen. The classic. We know it well. And then in 1st place is the god, the Luxem man himself, Bob, playing Fire, Luxem, Xander. 4 Luxem Xander decks in this top 8. What is going on in SEA? What are they doing?
All I'm saying is I'm looking at this.
Where are these
top
aggro
8.
decks?
I'm looking at this top 8, and I'm just thinking to myself that Fire Diana would have gone galactic in this top 8.
Yeah, like, come on. My SEA players, did you not learn your lesson? Look at these people. They all showed up to this tournament and they said, we'll give Limelight another one this year.
Yeah.
He just didn't show up. The man's having a kid. Like, he could have had a free W, dude. Just show up with Fire, Luxem, Xander, or Fire Diana and
like
kill
he
all
did
these
last
Luxem
year.
Xander
Yeah,
players.
it would have been sick.
What's going on, man? What are you guys doing?
Learn your lessons.
But apparently they got away with murder. And dude, I don't know if you watch any of Bob's games, but yeah, he bobbed some people for sure. he got away with some murder playing the Luxem deck. But yeah, definitely an interesting top 8. I don't think something that I would have expected to see 4 Luxem decks in the top 8. Where like Luxem's a good deck, and I think it is a tier 1 meta deck this format. But there's a lot of like Fire aggro decks running around, which is horrific for this deck.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they made it through the tournament, not dodging all these, Fire Burn decks, the Fire Xander decks.
I think it just
even some of these Wind Allies decks, if they have a good draw, can beat the hell out of Luxem.
I just think historically, SEA has always been about.
They do love control, yeah.
The control decks, so like
They
the
love
Luxem decks, the Merlin deck, like
they love it.
They've historically been about those that style of play. So like I see a world where like even when people are playing the decks that are bad to like for them, they have a higher skill level of playing these decks because they all play them.
Right. Yeah, they're very, very talented over there. Like, as a RE player, all the best RE players in the world are over there in SEA for the most part, and the best Luxem players are over there. And I guess that one's hard. There's some very good Luxem players in the US like Eason and but yeah, if we look at this top 8, it's like you said, it's mostly control decks. It's like 6 control decks and 2 tempo decks, which is, I guess, pretty indicative of what SEA usually plays, but definitely a bit of a surprise. Lots and lots of Luxem, which I don't think is indicative of not only like the meta, but like of the tournament. If we look at the breakdown of the tournament, it was way less Luxem than you would think. The champion breakdown for SEA Nats was 19% Lorraine, 16% Ari, 15% Xander, 15% Tristan, 14% Goja, 12% Dao-Chen. And so that does sort of speak to this pretty like aggressive metagame that these Luxem players found success in. Obviously, your number 1 deck being represented is Lorraine. That is almost exclusively Wind Allies players.
Yep.
So it's like, except for this, Water Crux.
Dude, this
player,
water deck is so
congratulations.
sick.
But that's like 20% wind allies in the field. Arisana in second place, not because they're playing Astra, because they're all playing fractals.
Yeah.
So, 16% plus the Dow Chance, another 12%, like probably, again, 20% of the room playing this water fractal deck. Xander, 40 players, 15%, but I would assume that's probably split half and half between Fire Xander and Luxem variants.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're probably looking at a field that's like, at best for you, like 25% aggro decks, 20% tempo decks, and you're playing the slowest deck in the format, but like 4 players made it there. I think it's really a testament to, like you said, the skill of those players. Obviously, the deck is good, but I think the difference between like a good Luxem pilot and a bad one is very, very stark.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, shout out, deck of the weekend, I think, is this cursed Water Crux deck, 61 card special. They're cooking some shit.
There is
there.
one Adier who hit me up to buy Diane Ways.
Yeah, baby. That card's good. Everybody's sleeping on that card. That card has good text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just mill yourself, and then it's Banner Knight.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a 2/3, right? It's a 3 cost 2/3?
Yeah.
Yeah. That card's good.
Yeah.
Everyone's sleeping on that card. So apparently not Enki is not sleeping on it. It's a hell of a deck.
Yeah, this deck is so sweet.
And the 61 card special really upsets me. But shout out to you, King.
What do you think the one of?
Speak your truth.
Do you think the one of is the Dispersion Blade?
Yeah,
he's playing the one of
I
Dispersion
hope so,
Blade.
Yeah. He's like,
so
he built this 60 card deck and he's like,
and then he looked at the Dispersion Blade was just sitting and he was just like,
according to producer Sean, half of the top 8 is 61 or plus cards. What are you doing? SEA, what are you doing? Do you not?
That's actually
math,
insane.
Bro?
Seattle was the same way.
Math, bro?
Wind Luxem, both the Wind Luxem players, 61 and 62.
Why are we doing this?
Wind and the Arisana deck is 61
what
cards.
What are we doing? What are you guys doing? That's not how math works.
Hold on.
It's like 2% or something. That's a real number.
Every single one of the ones that are 61 cards are playing a spicy one of.
You guys are so cursed.
Like the Wind Luxem is playing Verdurous Decree.
Yeah.
The Ari is playing one of Lunaseer.
I looked at that Ari.
Surely you just cut it, right?
It's like 2%, bro. Somebody get me the math. One of you smart math people. Where's my editor? She's at the Pro Tour in London. She can't tell me. It is like a real number that it dilutes your deck for sure. But people are like, the math is basically the same. It's only one extra card, but I think it's like 2% or something. It's real. It's crazy. But yeah, of course, congratulations to all those players. So I believe the word is the top 4 are invited. So those names that we read out a moment ago are all invited directly to the World Championship. Congratulations. We will see you in Anaheim. And then the following 8 players, I believe it goes down to 12 for SEA, are invited to the Gauntlet. So that's our first 8 players of our 32-player event invited to the Gauntlet. Of course, I want to congratulate Aqua, who snuck in, got 12th place to get invited to the Gauntlet playing Wind Arisana. 2 Ari players playing in the Gauntlet. I don't know Sheng personally, who made top 8. I don't know if he's a devout Ari player like Aqua is, but 2 Ari players in the top and into the Gauntlet is sick. We love that.
Yeah.
And those Luxem players, whatever, Luxem players should be put to the sword, but that's a that's a personal issue.
No. We just need our king and savior to come play, so every Luxem player feels the pain.
Yeah, we need Dad Light to come and strike fear into these Luxem players. Even Bob can't stop Fire Dana Limelight. Double Dungeon Guide, 5% are you? That's my king for sure. But yeah, definitely an interesting event. I'm curious how this will influence the rest of the season. Like, I don't think it's going to influence anything on the local level. Most people that are playing Grand Archive play what they play, and they're not going to like look at this to dictate what they're playing at regionals. But it might have some real waves that fall onto European Nationals and Ascent Kuala Lumpur, which are the same weekend, which is really crazy. Yeah. So it's going to be a really big weekend for Grand Archive. I believe that's the last weekend of April, so it's like 2 weeks from now. where a lot of these same players, right, like these SEA players, are going to be at KL, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see this really great showing from Luxem have some like reverberations on that meta. And maybe that does mean that we'll see, some Diana resurgence if there's expected to be a lot of Luxem players in the SEA region.
Yeah.
I'm really curious how that's going to work out, and we won't see until we're much closer. But so many players in SEA, so many, are like insanely talented, and a lot of them are sitting at that like ascendant top 100 level. I if I had to bet, I haven't looked at the stats, so maybe this is me just being biased, but I would assume that SEA has
the most ascendant,
either the most or the right behind the US, right? As far as regions go for ascendant players. So I'm really curious how many of those players will actually just go to Europe instead.
Yeah.
Like obviously I understand that KL is like fairly local, right? It's still in SEA, and Europe is a much farther trip, but the upside's huge to go to European Nationals and sneak one of those invites. But it's a pretty low amount, right? Is it only top two?
Top two?
Top two for Europe get the full invite to Worlds, and I believe it's top 8. Or the next six get Gauntlet invites. So I'm really curious what the sort of like estimated value is on that sort of proposition.
Right.
If you're a player that's in SEA and could feasibly go to both, is it higher upside for me to go to this Ascent and like maybe top 8, get a Spirit, whatever, or should I try to spike those top 2 slots in Europe? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's an interesting breakdown. So I'm curious what things will look like.
Yeah. And because of this event, or not because of this event, because it was scheduled before the event, but we do have a little bit more news because after this event, we had a ban list posted.
True. Man, I forgot about that.
And we had one addition to Tier 1 in Crystalline Mirror.
Yeah.
And that was the essentially the developers putting it on the watch list because it's not exactly where they want Water's identity to be. Just like the free Papa Regalia. So I'm interested to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, it's I always am intrigued by the way that they handle these ban list updates, where I would say like 9 out of 10 times it's not necessarily a power level issue, which I find really interesting. Like a couple of times they've made bans for power level issues, or like the 3 visits errata, or the erupting ban or whatever, right? These cards that they're like legitimately worried about power level, but a lot of them are like, we don't like this design space anymore. Like the Toy Story meme, I don't want to play with you anymore, dropping my Crystalline Mirror. Where they're not like, oh, Crystalline Mirror is too powerful. Like nowhere in that text did they say that we think this is a problematic power level design for a card. They're just like, we don't think this fits Water's identity, and so we want to keep an eye on it and get rid of it if it seems too prevalent, which I think is definitely interesting.
Well, if like you look back, right, like Crystalline Mirror has allowed decks like the Polar Fractal Mill Burn deck from last season. It empowers this Fractal deck this season. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that it isn't a powerful card.
So like I could see them like wanting to continue to print these powerhouse cards like Burst Asunder, like Stratagem into Water, but then remove Water's ability to answer the counter for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I understand the upside of having this Regalia, right? And that really is the upside. That like particularly a lot of these decks are weak into like Safeguard Amulet. Right. And so it gives you a main deck way to deal with your opponent's Safeguard Amulets. However, it is like usually a less effective response than something like a Fracturize, right? Because you have to materialize your own Crystalline Mirror. You pop their Safeguard Amulet, but it does mean that they still get to activate their Safeguard for that turn. So you're still like time walking yourself, right? So like usually it's going to be better to Fracturize it anyways. I understand there's upside to having this card available always because it's in your material deck. But yeah, I find it really interesting that it's not necessarily because it's such a powerful card, but it's because that's something they want to move away from in water.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that means like Regalia Destruction in general is like too powerful for water, and that's what they mean, or if they just mean this card specifically, which is what was unclear.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if they're like Crystalline Mirror is not the identity we want to have for water, which means like, does that mean Fracturize is on the watch list, for a very similar reason? I think the game would be infinitely better if we banned Fracturize. So like that would be great. I think
says the Arisana player.
Says the judge, bro. Like if I didn't have to ever deal with a fucking Fracturize again, I would be on cloud 9, dude.
Oh yeah, because then you wouldn't have any. It's less gun questions.
Yeah, it's less gun questions, less does this card keep its text? If I had a nickel for every person that's asked me if Censor of Restful Peace keeps its text after it gets Fracturized just because they've been, mentally boomed by Nullifying Lantern existing, it's like, no, that's not how that works. But yeah, I'm really curious if it's on a game design level that they don't want Regalia Destruction to be in water. But like there was a long time where people had no outs to Nullifying Lantern in water before the advent of these like Fantasia decks. There was a long time where these water decks literally just could not deal with a Nullifying Lantern because their only removal was Fracturize.
Right, and that doesn't do it.
Right, and that doesn't do it. We know that. And that wasn't a good place to be in either, right? That like Nullifying Mirror against these water decks is just like literally unanswerable.
Yeah.
If they ban Crystalline Mirror, what happens? We just go back to that? You have to play
Horse.
Swooping Talons or Unbroken Mustang in your water deck? Like, feels so bad, right? So yeah, I don't know. I think it was definitely a weird one. Like, if you were to put a gun to my head, please, I would not have put Crystalline Mirror anywhere near my thoughts for being Cat 1 on the ban list. It was really, really surprising to me, honestly.
Which is another thing where like I'm thinking like if they're hating on Crystalline Mirror,
yeah,
usually it's the next set that they're thinking of.
Maybe, yeah.
Or the next 2 sets,
Right.
We got the Erupting Ban before we got A and B.
Right.
And then A and B came out and there was nothing in it.
Right.
It was like relevant.
And then HVN made sense.
And then we got HVN and everything is a melody.
Right.
And then we have Sly Songstress, which would be giga broken if you had Erupting around still. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just like play this creative shot card. I turn on my my Erupting. It's insane.
Yeah, it's interesting if that means maybe we're getting some more, not even necessarily water support, but water support that plays into one of water's inherent weaknesses, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like more sort of cards that get eaten up by a Null Lantern or a Safeguard Amulet or whatever. Where, like, I think water more than anybody has trouble with Regalia right now. Not that that's keeping water from being competitive, but, like, if you're playing a water deck, you are probably the element that cares the most about your opponent's Regalia.
Right.
Null Lantern, Safeguard, Censor are all typically good into water decks.
Right.
Where that's not usually the case into everything else. So
right.
Yeah. So I wonder. I don't think that it's a bad candidate to get removed, but like to me, I put it right up there with like Chalice, where it's like I don't know that either of those cards are going to be as super problematic. I can understand that. I think right now, I know some blasphemy, but like Cleric's too strong, and it has been for a while. I think that's mostly on the back of Polaris. So I think if they deal with the Polaris issue, like Crystalline Mirror becomes less of a problem, if that makes sense. Where like we've seen the meta evolve and we see it, time and time again here in SCA Nationals, where the Arisana representation is super high, but it's like very dwarfed, right? Where most of these Arisana decks are not Aster decks. They're exactly the Dao-Chan deck, and most of them playing Dao-Chan in their sideboard, just because this Dao-Chan Fractal deck was created in Seattle and quite strong. And it's still quite strong. We saw it get second place at SCA. But it has a weakness. And its weakness is Allies decks. And everybody pivoted to Wind Allies. Wind Allies, beats this Water Fractal deck into the ground. But the power level a card like Polaris means that these people just get to pivot to Ari, and I'm not saying that makes their Wind Allies matchup good, but it gives them an out to allies because they get a free board wipe in their material deck.
Right.
And I think that sort of thing is keeping the meta from evolving, because there should be this sort of like rock, paper, scissors evolution, right? Where like this fractal deck is good, a lot of people play it, people realize that is the case, they play the counter to that deck, and then there should be a third level, right? Which is people start playing the counter to the counter, right? Wind Allies becomes popular, people start playing the deck that beats Wind Allies, that deck is maybe weakened to the fractal deck, right? And you go on these levels over and over and over again. But the problem with Polaris being so strong is we go from deck A being good, deck B is good into deck A just evolves and plays Arisana instead. And that's not like super healthy, I think. So yeah, I'm curious how they'll move forward. And I wonder if like MRC Alter or even DTR being an Astra set will have any influence on how they want to deal with Polaris in the future, because I do think it should be toned down a bit.
Maybe even one step further and
banned.
No. Change it completely from Norm into Astra, and that's the only change you make to it.
I would do it. Don't want to spend this whole time talking about poor Arisana, but yeah, definitely interesting. I was not on my bingo card to see Crystalline Mirror get looked at.
Yeah,
it's better than not, though. I think they've proven with Creative Shock, Dream Fairy are both off the list now, right? That it's okay to have something be looked at and maybe not banned, or maybe they decide that it is worth that. But right. I think it's always better for them to, like, I would be thrilled if there was like 30 cards to Cat 1. You know, it's just like, this is stuff we're looking at, and these cards are like maybe problematic, and maybe we'll remove them. We just want to let you know that we understand these cards are very strong. Yeah. And maybe we'll deal with them.
It's
maybe
like Lost
we won't.
Thought, right? Like,
yeah, that one should be banned. I think that card's actually absurd, but you know, like right now it's not. You know, so it's all about that evolution. You know?
I wish I could just like record conversations and then replay them later. Yeah. Because I remember a time.
I'll die on this hill. I think Lost in Thought for Zero is terrible, and that is always what I've said.
I just remember there was a time where when Lost in Thought first came out, Cam was like, that card's shit.
I want this to be very clear, and you can find them. I guarantee we said it on the podcast. I do not think Lost in Thought is shit. I think Lost in Thought for Zero is shit. I think you will have to be playing that card for like 2 or 3 for it to be plus. And when you do, it's insane. But I think playing Lost in Thought for Zero is bad. So if you're not going to play it for 3, and you're just like, I have 8 float in my deck, and 4 of them are Lost in Thought, then it is a bad card. But if you're playing 30 float in your deck, that card's absurd. But on that same merit, right? Not so much right now.
No, not
Censor's
so much.
a fucked up card.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Censor exists means Lost in Thought is way worse.
Yeah.
And that's sort of that evolution that we've got. I talked with somebody about this yesterday, where like everybody before HVN came out even was terrified of these like water tempo decks. It's like Sylvie Nico deck, and before that the Fractal Polar Depths decks, and it's like, oh my god, this mill deck is so oppressive, and this graveyard deck is so good, and Censor's not going to do anything. You can just fracturize it. And all those decks are bad. Like, the only one that is seeing any sort of play is this Gembu deck, because it gets to still play the game if you resolve a Censor and you don't have an answer for it. So, like, you know, things always change. And maybe there's some absurd hate card that comes out that makes Crystalline Mirror bad. Who knows? You know? Definitely interesting. So just, you know, keep an eye on things, I guess, is what I'm saying. I assume we have another ban list announcement post Nationals, maybe MRC launch day, something like that.
I think there was like 3 that we were talked about that we're supposed to be getting over the course of the season.
Yeah, I didn't look at the article, but or today I didn't look at it to double check, but I assume we'll get some more. I assume this will be or I guess we probably will get one after KL, right?
Right.
So just a couple of weeks from now. Maybe every deck in KL is playing Crystalline Mirror, and then they ban it. Who knows?
I don't think they would ban it, right? They just move it up to 2.
Yeah.
We've only seen them full out ban cards once.
Only that one time.
Yep. And it was worth it, right?
Who knows? I just mean it leaves a removes confidence from the consumer You know, where it's like, oh, are my cards safe for 2-ban lists? Well, not necessarily, because precedent says that whenever they want, they'll ban a card, which is fine. I agree, it was worth it, but just something to keep an eye on.
I think that's another reason why we saw a decrease in like the Sylvie Nico deck and stuff.
Right.
Is because you can't kill people on turn 2 anymore.
Yeah.
You can't Icebound Slam them to death.
Yeah, our card is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd say that has some part in it for sure. All right. Well, that's all we have for you this week. Next week is a week.
A week.
And
we'll talk about our regionals.
There's basically nothing. So please, if you have any topics that you want us to discuss on the show, I promise I won't address them at the end of the show like I did the last time because I can't read. Send them to us here on the YouTubes or on the Twitters or on the Discords. We're all on those places. If you have anything that you want us to talk about on the show, let us know in this slow pre-MRC, pre-Nationals time. If you want to catch the show, we do it every week, Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, asterisk, like today. It's a little bit late, but suck me. You can find the previous week's episode up on Mondays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lineage Briel.
Lineage Briel.
You can look for those.
I will do my best to check the words next time.
Spelling's hard. We thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Have a good one, guys.
Woo!
Woo!